Hey!
Hey!
Hey, everybody. It's Yo and Marie once again. And we took it outside today, y'all. It's a beautiful day.
Beautiful.
It's Transcendent Tuesday once again.
And we're here in front of your beautiful banana tree.
Yes, y'all. My banana tree was dead. They said it was gone. But God.
If you didn't know, she likes to grow.
Yeah.
We gotta.
I love that. More than one way. Yes. Yes. That's what it's about. Yes. Growing through the journey.
Yes,
Yes, yes, yes.
in all ways.
So, what are we going to discuss today? And
Well, we were actually talking about what we were going to discuss and got into a discussion. As always. If
Yes.
you only knew how many discussions we had prior to this and saying, oh, we should have waited. We should have recorded that.
Right, exactly.
But this time, we actually said pause.
Yes.
As you, I don't know if you saw our initial video. If not, please go back to the other YouTube video and watch it. Just a brief introduction of us and what we're here to do, which is really just have simple conversations,
Yes.
but hope to enlighten those around us as well as each other. And
Right.
I think just share the love as we always do with each other and with you all. So
And Marie just reminded, we said Yo and Marie, but I'm Yo, your freedom guide. And this is simply Marie. And let's go into it then. So, we were discussing something that I saw on the Gaia app, and it talks about Woundology and how the modern person uses the labels of, let's give an example of diabetes or anxiety, depression, as a way to describe who they are. They put that label on themselves. And how it's an excuse to never become whole. It's a crutch. As long as I have this thing wrong with me, then I can never become a whole person. I can never be healed because something's always going to be wrong with me. And I had this discussion with a few people, but when I brought it up to Marie, it opened up our minds, and we began to talk.
As always.
Yes, yes. So this is real life, and I'm gonna pause it because the trash people are here. And when we come back, I'll be coming back over here and sitting down. Okay. We're back. All right. Trash is empty. Where were we?
So we're talking about the Woundology, and you're describing that. Just a shout out real quick. Caroline,
Miss. I think it's Carolyn Miss.
yes,
Yes.
she's the one who coined the term Woundology.
Yes.
So just to give her the props or credit where it's due.
And we'll put it in the description as well if
Yeah.
anybody want to check that out.
Yeah, a lot of interesting theories that she had. But the Woundology was definitely something that resonated with me because growing up, I was amongst people who, um, diagnosed with this,
Mm-hmm.
diagnosed with that. And it was, oh no, I can't because I've got this.
Right.
Well, I'm like this. Well, I can't because of this. But I'm like, it just never resonated with me.
Right.
It was kind of like, okay. And
Just took it for what it was.
Just took it for what it was.
Right.
And to me, I'm like, oh, okay. At that time, like when I was a kid, even though something didn't sit well with me, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But then it was so much of a crutch. Like I inherited some of those ways. Like if
That's
I had a pain or an ailment, all of a sudden that became my crippling effect. Like it was
Yeah.
a crippling effect like on me to where I noticed that as an adult I had to grow and realize everybody has something going on with them.
That's the truth.
Everybody has aches and pains and
Mhm.
things like that. But not everyone is walking around like ugh,
You're right, using it as a
oh,
crutch.
you know,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking, nobody else is discussing these things. Like, am I just being weak? Is it affecting me more? Is it like, what is setting me apart from
Right.
the rest of the world? They're not doing this, but I am. And there are so many things. I think, one, we become to like, it makes us softer.
Yes.
It makes us baby ourselves and
Yes.
feel things that aren't really that serious.
Exactly.
And then I think also mentally, when you tell yourself you have these things and when you put it in, oh, this hurts, it's going to hurt more. So you're going to feel it more.
Yes.
And
Mindset is important.
it was. And when I say the hypochondriac, like, was alive and well in this arena, I'm just like, I had to think about all of that.
Yeah.
And like, oh my gosh, I am not gonna let this, like, this has to stop with me.
Yes.
Because I can't let this run my life. People are starting to look at me crazy, or you're always sick. And I'm thinking, no, I'm not. And I didn't want that label.
Right. Exactly.
So I had to reprogram almost my mind and how I dealt with certain ailments and things.
Yes.
And it was a crossover for me. It was a real life changer.
Well, I'm glad you got there. Let's get some more people there, because we have to learn from other cultures. I'm a dancer. If anybody doesn't know, I am a conscious dancer here in Atlanta for the last 11 plus years. And I will invite people to dance. And the first thing they say, oh, I can't, my back hurts, or I have sciatica, so I can't. Movement is medicine, people. It is. Our Native Americans, they knew that. That's why they dance. That's why they move. That's why they do that. It keeps the body of movement is how you heal. And the moment we sit still, you ever think about you're sitting at a desk or a sitting job all day, and then when you get up, you're like, oh man. But the more you move, it starts to loosen up, and so, we just have to, I feel like, this is my opinion, that we have to open up to other cultures, learn that something they're doing is working, pull from it, learn from it, and that is like a little segue into, I was having a discussion with a lady from Bulgaria. She's part of my dance community. And so the way in the Woundology episode, she talked about how a lady walked up to total strangers and they asked her how she was doing, and she began to spill out her whole medical diagnosis, and how many people we know like that? You're like, how you doing? They're like, my diabetes and, all of this stuff, and it actually opened up an interesting subject, because she said, well, in Bulgaria, we don't ask a person how they're doing unless we genuinely want to know, you know what I mean? And it just made us, look at it differently, because she was like, if you're not a good friend of ours, or I don't really know you, I'm not going to genuinely ask, how are you? I may say, have a great day. It was good to see you, all of that. But I think about, too, as Americans, how many times we ask a person, how are you? And when they actually tell us, we like,
I wasn't trying to hear all that.
yeah, I just wanted to hear you were fine, and I go on about my business, and then that causes us to even get in a habitual lying pattern, to say that I'm fine when I'm really not fine, because that is just what the culture expects you to say. And then when you really do tell somebody, you can tell they looking at the watch, oh, I got to go, and so it just opened doors for so many other conversations, and things to make you think about with that, even if you're one of those people that when somebody asks you, how are you? And you start a whole life history, think about it, maybe.
You kind of have to think about it on both ends.
Right.
Because like you said, I answer to other people. I'm like, oh, I'm good.
Right.
I'm fine. Because I'm not going to get too personal. Like, they don't want to hear all my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality is, so, oh my gosh, there's so many parts to this.
I know. That's why I love these type of conversations, because it can go, yes,
so,
go ahead.
So, because one, well, for me personally, you don't want to speak these things as if like they've just taken over your life. Like, I'm not going to sit here, oh, I have this and I have that. Because, like, no, first of all, I'm trying to rebuke whatever it is that's ailing me. I'm not trying to have diabetes. I'm not trying to
Right.
have high blood pressure. I'm not trying to have, so many of these other things that the doctor has diagnosed upon me or could, and so I'm watch for my words. But I will say, and I guess because I genuinely care about people, when I ask how are you, I get so upset when people say, "Oh, I'm fine. How are you?" I'm like, "Fine. What you?"
Yes.
I haven't seen you in 2 3 years, or I'm doing a wellness check on. Even though we did just talk last week, I'm calling. I'm asking how you're doing.
Right.
How are you doing?
That's so funny you said that, because I had to say that to my boys. I was like, every time I would ask them, it would be fine. How are you? No, I've actually stopped them. I'm like, I genuinely want to know, how are you?
Right.
And after that conversation, me and another friend of mine who was with the lady from Bulgaria, we was like, we're going to be very intentional about when we text each other or when we're talking to other people, and let them know, like, I genuinely want to know, how are you? So people can start to understand that how are you is not a general statement. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right. It's
Yeah.
not. It's so we have to be mindful of our words. And just kind of falling back into the whole woundology thing, it's more so you have to be conscious of your thoughts. You have to be conscious of where you put your mind state. Like I said last time, you got to check your energy.
Yes.
And that's with yourself too, because if you're telling yourself that, oh, this hurts me, oh, I can't do this, we are so self-limiting in our brains, and we have to think about why are we doing this, because those who suffer from woundology, I know of someone very personal to me, and they don't have a lot of contact, a lot of social, doings with the outside world. They've got some they've got some medical issues.
Okay.
And a caregiver, and they stay in their home a lot, and so their access to the outside world is pretty limited. There are a few family members who might stop in to do certain things, and a caretaker or two, but it's such a self-limiting thing. And I think some of it, sometimes I know that some of it is so that they can get the attention.
Yeah.
It's like, no, because once I'm cured from this, or once I don't have this ailment anymore, then such and such is not going to come around, or then I'm not going to get the attention from people when I tell them this. It's almost like a cancer patient. I'm not putting this on anybody that they have thought like that, but imagine having such a disease or something so devastating that it's going to naturally grab the attention of people, and people are going to empathize, sympathize with you, and just have some compassion. But and I've heard crazy stories like this where people just make up stuff to have so that they can get the attention. And whether it's social media, or like they used to do talk shows and get money, so it's all different reasons. Sometimes it's attention, sometimes it's financial, but whatever it is, people make up these things, or they continue to, in their mind, stay with this illness, or hold on to the illness as long as possible, instead of doing what they can to get rid of it and heal themselves, because mentally they're not healed from another aspect.
Trauma.
Yeah, they need that attention. They need that whatever it is.
So let me interrupt you real quick, because that was something that was on the actual episode. She talked about how and this is her opinion, and in some ways I can see where she's coming from, but even society rewards if you stay with a sickness. You may get disability. You get to go to the front of the line, like you're more important than everybody else, all of those types of things. This is what she was saying. And so I could see that. I was like, if you get these benefits from it, that's why you have people who are lying or saying I have something, because you get benefits from it. You know what I mean? In so many different ways. And so if it's benefiting me to keep this thing, people just don't understand there's a bigger benefit when you become healthy, healed, and whole, and you seek spirituality and you begin that journey. But right now, the world has shown, you know,
Yeah.
you benefit from it.
Right.
Yeah.
And people don't want to let go of that. People are used to, people are not fulfilled internally, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, whatever it may be, because they haven't ventured out. Maybe they don't know. I'm not blaming people. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they just have had enough trauma to where they've chosen not to go the natural or spiritual route, or
Right.
not to see God. I know there's a lot of church trauma. There's a lot of different traumas, and so it's totally understandable. But I pray for those people. I feel so bad because there's such a brighter world on the other side.
Yes, it is.
It's like,
yes, it
if
is.
you could just get past that, I promise you, it's so rewarding.
Yes.
And it's so fulfilling.
Yes.
Like in so many ways, And it's like I feel like I was just telling her husband, right, that it feels like that this is the whole journey. And once you get past like the bulk of your issues, if you want to say, or once you can, no, not even that, once you decide really to turn towards God,
Yes.
and to start living for you, for Him, and your path that He has you on, and start actually listening to Him, it's like it's levels to this.
Yes. She's on it, y'all. Definitely. And that's the key. I mean, a lot of you may or may not know my history, but I was diagnosed with degenerative joint disease, pre-diabetes, was told that I needed new knees, that I would never walk again. I was on the heavier side. 425 was my highest weight. And through prayer, start with prayer first. Seek your source and start the journey of healing. I didn't need medication. It was movement, knowing the right kind of foods to eat, all of those kind of things that God has already put here. So we can all come up out of the woundology mindset, you know what I mean? That, we all can heal.
Yes.
So thank you for that. You as usual, she's the segue into the thoughts, But yeah, this was good.
And even with, and there's a difference between church and spirituality, because those in church, you'll still catch church leaders. Oh, girl, I got this. That ain't ever going away.
Yes.
Oh, I got this. But that's where the difference is in having, and these are people who have very divine and very spiritual connections with God.
Yes.
But it's learning the holistic approach about our presence,
right,
in God's will on earth. I don't know how to explain it. Like,
I think also it's a programming thing. You know what I mean? We have to deprogram from the habitual things that have been, here all along.
Yeah.
And then once we start to, that's why you can have these people that are so religious or so saved or really, really up there, but they're still having these things because they don't realize, they realize the power of the words, but not really. You know what I mean? Those little nuances that keep us stuck, just thinking I have this and it's never gonna go away. If you say it's never gonna go away, it will not go away.
no.
So you have to believe, not just say it, believe it with your heart and believe that your creator can send whatever you need to help you heal.
And that's, I think, a huge part of it is there's a spiritual relationship with God, right?
Right.
And I guess I'm kind of going back to the people at church. There's a spiritual relationship with God, but have a spiritual relationship of the natural sense of things with God.
Yes.
Because the same person, I've had people tell me, they had an issue, and I suggested like a natural ailment for them.
Right.
And I was like, oh, well, I'm gonna go to the doctor tomorrow. I'm just gonna see what he gives me. And I'm like, what?
Right. Yes.
See this, and it's a conditioning.
Yes.
I have this. The doctor's gonna give me pills. Pills are gonna make me better, and God has provided all that we need here on earth.
Yes. Everything. Yes.
I'm telling you, yo turned me on to sea moss. Well, I mean, I've known about sea moss from another friend of mine. Bless her heart, I love her to death. Turned me on to it a long time ago, but I've not been consistent until yo started selling it. And so I'm like, okay, I know about it, but let me go ahead and get some from her now. Let me actually start my journey with it. And then she put me on moringa seeds. And when I tell you that between the sea moss and the moringa seeds,
the honey, don't forget. Honey-based sea moss. Honey is very important.
Yeah. Well, I've been on local honey for a long time. Because I drink tea regularly, so I've definitely been on honey for the natural honey, local honey. All right, local honey. But it's like God has provided me, and I think a lot of people just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where you have to have a willingness to step outside your box.
Yes.
You have to have a willingness to truly and honestly learn about how to self-heal.
Yes.
And you want to do that.
Right.
Because if you don't want to, you may always be sick.
Yeah.
Because you're constantly telling yourself somewhere in your body, this is who I am.
Right.
And you're letting it define you.
Yeah.
And so if you're defining yourself as that, that's what's going to come back to you.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah.
It's good stuff, as usual. So, y'all let us know what you think. We would love to hear your comments and your opinions.
Like and subscribe.
This. Yes, like and subscribe, definitely. And so this has been eye-opening, as usual. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got any more thoughts?
I think we could go on forever.
Is always going, y'all. Always.
So if I'm just like looking or staring into space, it's because I promise you, my mind is like out here somewhere. And what I take from yo is always intriguing to me, and it's always uplifting. It's always motivating, even if it's for me just in my heart to go out and live life better. When I leave here, I'll probably be like, I'm good to go.
Oh, baby. Well, that makes me happy to hear that. Yeah.
I'll be singing, I'm jamming.
Yes, I love it. Rubbing some of that energy off on me, y'all. Yes, I love it. Take it. Sorry, y'all, this is us. Sorry, but not.
I ain't sorry. Right. Sorry for what? This is who we are.
Yes. Well, y'all continue having a Transcendent Tuesday. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week. This has been
Simply Marie.
And I'm Yo, your freedom guide. Remember, whatever you do, begin it in love. And it has no choice but to end
in peace.
Y'all take care. Bye. Oh.